This is Water Elemental.
And this is Axis, and we are here today to talk about the League of Legends. It's a little show we do. We talk about what's going on with all the cool stuff we like to play over in the league. Valorant, Riot Games, all kinds of crazy stuff. Get some interesting news this week.
First of all, sorry about the quality of the sound. The microphone we've been using for a couple of months now has been picking up Mexican radio, and unfortunately we've been trying to fix it, and it's gotten to the point where we decided that it's best to kind of switch back to the older microphone until we can get a replacement. So sorry if it sounds a little bit off this week. We're trying our best to get better sound quality, but unfortunately we can't.
It's true. But hopefully we're moving forward. But this week we got some cool stuff. We have a new champion coming out. Draven, the Glorious Executioner. That's Darius' brother. We have a 34% IP boost for this weekend for the Facebook thing. We have some new skins, some very good-looking skins. We have a review of the Tribunal, and of course, some sales as well as our own content. So, first thing we're going to talk about, of course, is Draven, the Glorious Executioner.
They just brought out his skills like 5 minutes ago, so we are on top of it tonight.
Yay!
On top of it, yeah!
So first things first, everyone probably knows, Draven is Darius' brother. They sort of linked up his art, they made a cool background for it. But they're brothers. Both from Noxus with slightly different personalities. First of all, let's say Draven's got a goofy haircut with some weird mustache.
He looks
going
like someone from an '80s hairband.
He looks like Alice Cooper with a goofy haircut and mustache.
Hopefully, one of his skins will be the drummer for.
No,
Penta-Kill.
he would make a perfect Penta-Kill.
He would be a perfect Penta-Kill
because he's got the drumsticks.
He's got the hair already.
Oh yeah.
Just paint him black. Voila, drummer.
But let's talk about his skills a little bit. He is a ranged AD. But his passive is called Wicked Blades. Draven's critical strikes deal bonus physical damage over time. Spinning Axe also causes this effect, even if it does not critically hit. Draven's next ability is Spinning Axe. Draven's next attack will deal bonus physical damage. This axe will ricochet off the target and high up into the air. If Draven catches it, he automatically readies another Spinning Axe. Draven can have 2 Spinning Axes at once. Ability is Blood Rush. Draven gains increased movement speed and attack speed. The movement speed bonus decreases rapidly over its duration. Cashing a Spinning Axe will refresh the cooldown of Blood Rush. His next ability is Stand Aside. Draven throws his axes, dealing physical damage to targets hit and knocking them aside. Targets that are hit are also slowed. And his final ability is called Whirling Death. Draven hurls 2 massive axes, dealing physical damage to each unit struck. Whirling Death slowly reverses direction and returns to Draven after striking an enemy champion. Draven may also activate this ability while the axes are in flight to cause them to return early. Damage deals less damage for each unit hit and resets when the axes reverse direction.
Now, I love the kind of theme of this champion here. It's more of a ranged Olaf. So he's got his axes, but instead of, up close personal, he's constantly throwing axes back and forth. I think that's really cool.
The thing he mostly focuses on, from what I'm reading his abilities, is basically you throw Spinning Axe, you pop Blood Rush, they start to run, you run up into their face, you catch your axe, you activate another Spinning Axe, reactivate Blood Rush. So basically he's like a Predator-esque champion where you keep pelting them as you're running right along after them. So it looks like items with slow, like Frozen Mallet and Red, are going to be very important on him, but it's also going to be very important to harass champions at low health, because you want them to be running from you to deal your most damage. Or you want to be just in melee range, which is kind of weird.
He has a lot of harassment, especially with the Spinning Axes, where the Spinning Axes come out, they whirl for a bit, and then come back in.
Yeah, because it hits him, it bounces up, and then if they come down, he can throw another one immediately. So it's going to be a really cool mechanic where you're going to kind of juggle a bunch of stuff at once, and you're going to be able to knock people aside, chase after them, get away if need be. So there's going to be a champion where it's like, okay, if you can track all this stuff, you're going to deal massive damage. And if you can't, well, you're just going to kind of fall aside. Which is good, because high skill cap ranged ADs are hard to get. I mean, you have a lot of easy ones. You have your Caitlyn's, your Graves. They're pretty easy. I mean, even Ashe, I mean, while there is some hard play with her ult, it's pretty easy to figure out what to do with her. But Draven looks like he's not going to be so easy to pick up. It's going to be mostly focusing on dealing your damage consistently, throwing stuff through them, and then being there to refresh your cooldowns. So, in my opinion, Draven's going to be a nice breath of fresh air. I was a little worried. I mean, while I did like Darius last week, he was kind of a bland archetype, and now while Draven does look kind of silly,
He looks like Genghis Khan if he was from the 80s.
he looks kind of silly, and his lore is a little weak. He does have some very interesting abilities.
So technically, this is the Noxus equivalent of Lux, wouldn't it?
I guess so. Brothers! No, but hopefully he'll pan out well. Hopefully he'll have high enough damage to make his skill set, which focuses on chasing and being right in the face of your enemy, viable. Because if he's not tough enough, he's gonna fall flat on his butt.
It's interesting that they want you to build a lot of cool critical strike to utilize his passive. Not many, critical strike builds are out there, so maybe they're...
It's all lifesteal these days, because sustain is the name of the game.
Well, there's like crit plank, there's crit fiddles, there's stuff like that, but that's kind of
Criddle sticks.
Criddle sticks, I'm sorry. You got a lot of that side build, they're not really top tier builds except for Gangplank, but a lot of critical strike builds are kind of, frowned upon. So this character is actually going to utilize critical strike mainly, and that's going to be pretty fun.
Oh, yes.
Just crit, spinning at you, just like, ah!
And you're slowly bleeding out, and he's just got blood rush, and he's just sprinting after you. He's going to be a really cool hunter-type character, but I think he'll depend a lot on vision, so he might be kind of easy to juke, honestly. Which I hope the damage will make up for that.
It depends how fast those axes spin. If they increase speed over time, or depending on the levels, they kind of spin faster, or something like that. It all depends on how it's going to be as far as gameplay, how you're going to build him, how you're going to build against him. Because you never know, the mechanics on him might be not right at the beginning with, especially since it's a newer champion.
Indeed. And it looks like he's got a lot of stuff that refreshes. So, I don't know if he's going to be a mana champion or not, but if he is, he might be kind of mana intensive.
I think that might actually be useful for the new Chalice. Get the Chalice on him and then...
Well, still, that's the Chalice is AP based.
Is it?
Yeah, it's got a lot of AP.
Again, he might be...
But who knows? Maybe it'll be the first ranged AD, well, excluding Kennen, that is not based on mana.
Well, usually they mention that if they're running off another.
Who knows? But we'll see. Looks interesting. I can't wait to see what skins he comes out with. He's very different from the other ranged ADs, so I'm excited to see that.
Difference is good. We'll just see how well he mingles in, and let us know what you guys think. Indeed. If you got any more information about him.
Oh, and that's going to be our challenge for this week. What do you think a Penta-Kill Draven would look like? Do you think he's going to be muscle bound? Do you think he's going to be kind of black with the drumsticks? What do you think Penta-Kill Draven looks like? Post that in. We'll have a little bit more information at the end of the video.
Next up, to say thanks for everybody who signed on to the League of Legends Facebook page. They're giving us a 34% IP bonus this weekend. So from Friday to Sunday, we're going to get a bonus on every game type. And that's going to be fantastic, especially since a lot of us still have those 10 free IP boosts. I wonder if they're going to stack.
Oh, probably.
Oh,
good. So much IP.
So much. I've been on a losing streak, so they take off wins now, so it's not so bad.
But, yeah, I'm excited. I'm probably going to play a lot this week. I've been playing tons of Darius because he's fun. So, actually, we might have a Darius video for this one. But
yeah, because I guess Brand is not cool enough for a Darius video.
That's cold. We have a couple of cool skins that came out. We have Glaive Knight Pantheon. Very interesting skin for Pantheon. Pantheon's one that has a lot. Some of them are bad, some of them are good. But this one looks really cool. He's got sort of a halberd instead of a spear, so I think this is a neat looking skin.
I really like the look of it. He has a really nice looking flowing cape, very bright.
And it looks like he has very cool new hit effects too.
Yeah.
Like when he slams down, it looks like it's an explosion rather than just the lines.
I think that just might be on impact. But yeah.
So.
But his shield looks really cool. It has a very high detailed shield, high detailed cape. He has a cool wolf helmet. Very nice. If I play Pantheon, I'd probably pick this up because it's really nice looking.
Indeed. The other two we have, of course, Sad Robot Amummu. Everyone's heard about this. His spamming of Laugh will echo across the map and terrorize your enemies. It's a really cool skin, and I would pick it up if you're any kind of Amummu player. It's just awesome.
And then we have a Shavana skin already.
Dark Flame Shavana. She's been very popular, so they brought this out. This is an awesome looking skin. All their particle effects are like a deep purple dark magic flavor. Dragon model is just epic looking. It's a very, very nice dragon skin. and I would pick it up if I were you. And finally, they go over the Tribunal. We've got about a year since it came out. Over 47 million votes have been cast. There's a lot of cool statistics you can read here. I played around with the Tribunal a little bit. I haven't recently, but apparently it's been very popular.
Well, I tried it out every now and again. If I'm like sitting in a place where there's a computer and there's nothing really much going on, I kind of hop onto it and do a couple of Tribunal things.
Because it's free IP and you get to condemn those around you.
There's what has been your favorite Tribunal thing that you've seen so far?
Honestly, it's mostly just seeing what kind of troll builds exist.
I know there was one guy that he was playing I think he was playing a Janna, and what he would do is no, this is when the Kog'Maw bug was out. The Kog'Maw bug with friendly fire. He had like 8 reports because he kept killing his own friends.
Nice.
But I thought that was pretty funny. I forgot about that. I thought it was like Janna for something. Like, where would Janna have?
In sort of forum news, they're talking about buffing a couple of champions. They've talked about buffing Garen, the tenacity items. That's your Cloak and Dagger, Elysia's Miracle, and Moonfire Spellblade.
Now, these items, ever since they came out, just felt like, why should I have these instead of just getting boots? Boots have the most tenacity on them anyways, and I might as well just...
Well, it's the same tenacity now.
Oh, they're all the same?
Mm-hmm. Awkward.
Well, at first it wasn't.
See, the thing I think that would help make these tenacity items a little better is Elysia's Miracle builds out of Philistone, which is really good. But if they made Moonfire Spellblade build out of Kage's and Cloak and Dagger build out of Avarice, I think it might make them more attractive build items, as well as just making the stats a little better.
The stats are really weak.
Yeah,
especially if it's an item you want to keep on you, especially if you have like a high CC team and you don't want to get Merc Treads. So.
Indeed. But I think if they made them build out of GP5 items, just give them another build route, that'd be nice, because it would make it better as sort of it could pay for itself eventually. But yeah, so there's that. They're talking about buffing Garen, which is awesome. The new ult granting vision for enemies is a bug, so any new enthusiasts, look out for that. And there's also been some more talk about Sejuani. Sejuani's probably going to get buffed soon. They've been looking at her kit, seeing what they can do to help her out. And that's really it from the forums. And the last thing we have are sales. Our sales this week, what do we have for champions?
We have Nautilus, Morgana, and Nidalee.
These are all champions that sort of have a variety of different builds. You know, you have your tanky Nautilus, you have your AP Nautilus, you have your support Morgana, you have your AP Morgana, you have your AP Nidalee, and your AD Nidalee. These are all champions that are very strong and can make or break the game. I mean, Nautilus is just an amazingly fun champion with a really cool ult, bunch of neat mechanics.
He has a good hook to him.
Morgana, I mean, Spell Shield. It's one of the most broken abilities in the game. Fantastic.
Amazing passive.
Tons of spell vamp. She's just a great champion. And Nidalee, really tough contender. Lots of damage there if you build her right. You can go AP or AD. You can support. You can deal damage. You can tank. She's sort of the champion that does it all depending on how you build her. And definitely a good one to try out or even pick up.
For skin sales this week, we have Tundra Fizz.
Tundra Fizz is a neat looking skin. They changed the model on his whale, so it looks really, really neat. No other particle effects besides that, but what else do you really need? I mean, a lot of people argue that the Earth Fizz is pretty good, but you're going to see that one all the time. Literally everyone has that one. It's the most common one. So why not change it up a little bit? And it's only $487. That's not a bad deal at all.
What's cooler, Killer Whale or Earth? I prefer Killer Whale any day.
Indeed.
Next up, we have Acolyte Lee Sin.
Acolyte Lee Sin is it's a really nice looking skin. It's one of the ones that came out when he originally came out. I personally prefer Bruce Lee Sin, but this one looks pretty good. And for a low price tag, I'd say grab it.
Especially since you can't get Bruce Lee Sin anymore.
It's true.
Finally, we have Monarch Kog'Maw.
292 RP. This is an amazing skin. This looks so good. It's got custom animations. It's just an amazing skin. 292 RP. If you play Kog'Maw, even a little bit, you just need to buy the skin. It's awesome. It's great. 292 RP. That's a drop in a bucket. Why don't you own this already?
Why? Why don't you own this? Why don't you own Kog'Maw? Why don't you own this beautiful creature? Save the Kog'Maw.
Oh yeah, that's the wrong music.
It has to be something depressing with a bunch of
okay.
Kog'Maws like in cages, sad.
That's true.
So.
And that's it for official news this week. We're going to move on to our own section.
Alrighty. First up is entries from last week's challenge. The first one comes from Ray from the forums, once again bringing us some goofy artwork here. This is what looks to be Darius slam dunking an Ezreal.
It's a really good picture, and I thank you for being the first to enter our challenge. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
It's Duncan time!
It's Duncan time.
No, Dad, no!
Like we mentioned, this week our challenge is to kind of describe or kind of, in one way or another, kind of Photoshop or kind of compare what you think the new champion is going to look like if he has a
Penta-Kill skin.
Now, we're guessing he's going to be the drummer, so look for some drummers, find out what you think is going to be like that. And this week, there's actually going to be a prize to it.
Ooh.
I came across an extra copy of Sanctum for the PC. Not Sanctum, what am I doing?
Bastion?
Bastion. Great indie game, worth $15 on Steam. Free, if you guys enter, and if we like your entry.
Yeah, so whoever wins this week's challenge, drawing Draven as a drawing, photoshopping, or even writing up a description of what Draven will look like as a Penta-Kill member, can win a copy of Bastion. Hooray!
Hooray! Like I said, this prizes won't be all the time, but this week, since we came across a free item here, we're gonna let you guys check it out. So now we're gonna be moving on to our our questions, because that's totally the same thing.
You're just bad at life, that's all.
Yep.
Our first question comes from JO40PLZ. And that's a 7, not a Z. That's close.
Close. Numbers.
I just got carried away. I was excited. He says, quick and easy question. Do you guys think Darius is overpowered? Well, there's been a lot of discussion about this, but let's talk about Darius a little bit. We talked about him last week. We got to give our thoughts, but we never said if he was overpowered. His damage is high. Let me just start out by saying
very high.
His damage is very high. He has a very high damage potential, but he's got a lot of weaknesses. Like, every champion has a lot of weaknesses, but
like we said, he has no close-up.
Yes, he has no gap closer. Now, while a 550 pull is nice, that's all he's got. And it's got a very long cooldown. So I wouldn't call that a gap closer, but it's a way for him to get in range of something.
It's more of a CC than it is a gap closer.
Indeed. So it's not a strong gap closer. 550 range is pretty weak, and so it makes him very easy to kite. So there's a big weakness right there. His second, he has no survivability. There's no button he can press where it says, all right, you are more tanky, you're quicker, you have a shield, anything like that. He has no escape mechanism. No flash, no jump, no anything like that. The only thing he has is a move speed boost if he has someone bleeding, which means he has to be offensive, which isn't a very good...
He is an all-or-nothing champion, and that's his weakness.
Yes, and finally, high mana cost. He's a very minuscule mana pool. His ult costs 100 mana. You know how much mana he has at level 6?
500.
It's about 400 mana.
400.
All of his abilities cost between 40 and 60 mana, and his ult costs 100. So he can burn out of energy very quickly if you don't manage him right. So you take all those factors and you say, okay, well, he's not very tanky. He doesn't have a survive. He doesn't have any abilities that sort of let him get away with ease. So he just sort of ends up being a champion where it's like, okay, feast or famine, you either go or you burn out. I mean, he's so easy to gank. He's so easy to kite. The only thing he has where it really is, if he gets you, he's going to tear you apart. And so that's the only thing he's got. And so for a champion, if he only does one thing, and he does it well, I'd say that's good. I mean, you have champions that do a lot of things good. I mean, you take, for instance, Shen, for instance. He can tank, he can do damage, he can sustain, he can escape, he can help teammates. Darius is worse than Shen because he's just not as versatile. So I don't think Darius is overpowered. I just think he's very good at one thing.
And that is murdering people.
So while that is frustrating in some parts, he's very easy to shut down if you play appropriately. So I don't think that makes him overpowered.
Especially if you're a caster and you have some sort of CC like
Especially
Brander.
If you're Ashe. Just go...
Well, like, I was watching this LeBlanc. I was spectating a game, and this LeBlanc versus a Darius, and the Darius kept, like, running up to her, and she'd just do her slow, and then he'd just get snared again. She'd just blow up on him. It's like he couldn't even get close to her through the whole game.
Yeah.
So, if you hate Darius, counters like Lux LeBlanc, Brand, all that stuff can just shut him down.
Any champion with more than 500 range or 550 range in your golden.
And any sort of CC. So
Indeed. Our next question comes from
Bildor13. His question is, what the hell is that dog thing in the shop?
As we all know, Doran recently got replaced at the shop. He is replaced with some random, no basin lore Yordle. I don't know why. I don't know why they felt the need to take out Doran, but whatever. We have this guy now, and he has a weird little dog. That maybe I don't know if it's a dog or it's a cat. It's some animal. But I imagine it's just some pack animal he has. I mean, I can't imagine there's too much lore behind it. I haven't looked it up. But
well, there's not much lore going on right now.
Yeah. It looks like it's just some pack animal that he uses to bring along with him. Just like what we would do with a pack mule, you know, dragging along your cart or whatever, just so we can sell us our fine wares, like our Infinity Edge or our Oracle of Elixirs.
I personally don't like him. I think the new guy.
I did prefer Doran. He had
well, it's a bigger cart. It was a bigger target to click on, and he was bright orange. This one, he kind of blends in with the platform a
little bit. But yeah, I definitely prefer Doran. There's some more bases to it. And
didn't Doran get hit in the head or something?
Yes, he did. He used to be a brilliant smith, and he got hit in the head, and now he makes Doran's blades for a living.
More Doran's blades! I think you've had enough there, Caitlin. More Doran's blades!
Oh, gosh. And that's really it for questions this week, guys. We love, 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 love questions. We'll answer 2 or more during a week. We take questions from our comment section below, so you can post one of those with ease, or you can send to our email at spazticgaming@gmail.com. That's the better way to send long-form questions.
If you want to get a hold of us, that's the best way to get that way as well.
Indeed. Or you can post them on our forums at spazticgaming.com. We have a forum section up there. You can put all your stuff in.
Best way to put in your entries for the challenge this week as well.
That's correct.
We also have a Twitter. It's at Spaztic Gaming. It has our logo and stuff like that. Follow us. You'll get up-to-date information when shows are coming out, when they're being edited, and when you can look out for them, as well as what we're up to, and if we have any questions or something like that, you guys can interact.
We'll even make fun of your parents.
Shh. That's premium access.
Ooh, Spaztic Gaming Gold.
We just brought out a Diablo review. A lot of fan rage about that, but check it out. That's our opinions on it. Mainly JCB and I. Axis doesn't like dungeon crawlers for good reason.
True. I'm not a big fan. But we're working on bringing out more content for the summer. If there's anything you may be interested in, we are kind of looking for ideas. So if you guys have something cool, maybe that we could take a look at, we definitely will. Whether it's top deck, game reviews, or League of Legends based, let us hear it.
Let us know what you guys want to see, period, so we can pump out what you guys want to see constantly.
Indeed. But that's all we got for this week. This has been Axis.
And Water Elemental.
And, where is Darius Vicarian?
I don't know. I don't know.
I should go.
Axis away.
That was a Mass Effect joke.
I know.
You ruined it.